North Carolina.
Bad trouble.
Okay, a terrible crash. Richard Petty's car has turned over 7 or 8 times coming off turn 4 and was just struck by another car. It's one of the most violent accidents we've ever seen at the Daytona International Speedway here as leader Darrell Waltrip squeezes through. Petty's car nosed into the wall and then went sideways and barreled end over end and then side over side time after time. A terrible accident involving the man who has won this race 7 times over the years. Alan Kulwicki in car number 7 was involved. His car is limping towards the pits, and there is the damaged number 43 STP Pontiac of Richard Petty out there on the track. It was really happened at one of the highest speed sections on the track, and we trust that Petty is okay in the car. Phil Barkdahl was involved in number 73. And we're trying to identify which other car. There's number 23, Eddie Bierschwal, Jeff Bodine in car number 50.
Richard Petty was running in a pack of cars, and the back end starts to go around, and it looks like he might have been tagged by the car number 73 of Phil Barkdahl, and you can see Petty's car just framming and turning over up against the wall, and other cars coming in. There's Barkdahl hitting him as he came by, and the Eddie Bierschwal car hitting one of the tires that came off the car.
From another angle. That looks like the crash at Darlington years ago, Ned.
Fortunately, it was staying on the nose of the car for so long, Ken, so it didn't look like it was really taking hard bounces down onto the pavement.
And it dispels some of the energy. You must remind the viewers that these cars are built to take these kind of crashes. And there's Phil Barkdahl hitting the cement wall right in front of us. Chromoly frames that serve as a roll cage up under the roof to keep the car from crushing down on the driver.
Let's take a look from Ricky Rudd's vantage point.
You can see the trouble start in front of him there, whether the 73 car hit number 43, the 73 being driven by Phil Barkdahl, or Alan.
This time by, and look at this pack. Trouble off track four. Newman slams the wall. Down pit road comes Schrader, and Newman is in the air and over. Ryan Newman, last year's Rookie of the Year. The rear end ripped from the car as he slides down the asphalt, and when that car hit the grass of the tri-oval, Ryan Newman went upside down.
Come on, boy, get out.
A crash on pit road. Bobby Labonte has slammed into Ken Schrader as Schrader slid through the infield grass.
And the problem was Schrader was already wrecked. They come down pit road. I don't think Schrader could control his car.
Ryan's moving in the car. So he is moving around trying to get out.
Not a whole lot he can do hanging there like that. I mean, he's got to have help. Pretty big boy. He doesn't want to.
Kenny Schrader's climbed out. Newman has signaled that he is okay. He is a strapping young fella.
Yes, he is.
Used to driving open-wheel sprint cars.
I mean, Darrell, this is a predicament trying to get unhooked out of that car upside down.
Well, you got seat belts, you got the Hans device. I mean, there's just so many things. You got to have help. Man, it ripped the rear end housing right out from under that race car. When it dug into that grass right there, it just started tearing the car apart.
Brian Newman, USAC Silver Crown champ and Purdue University engineering graduate. He's going to climb out of that car with help, and here Bobby Labonte and Ken Schrader.
I think Schrader was in the grass and he was going down through here, and I think his car must have gotten out of control, and Bobby Labonte was coming along and he just slid over in front of him.
All right, you're looking down at Labonte's crew, looking to see if they have so much damage that they can't get back into the race.
There you see Ryan Newman right there.
Oh, yeah, he waved to the crowd. All right, buddy.
What a ride.
Second caution flag of the day. Newman's car got tipped into the outside wall and then slid through the infield. And when it got to the grass, it got airborne.
Let's watch her here and see what happens. Oh, Kenny Schrader got out of control, got into him. Oh, that's what happened, Mike. His right rear tire came off. Car goes airborne, then when it hits the ground, it digs in and just rips it apart. Let me tell you, the way these cars are inside, he's in a capsule in there. And so these cars, they've done such an incredibly good job with the safety and protecting the driver in these cars. Look at that thing lift up, Larry.
Just takes off like an airplane.
That's 3,400 pounds, folks, just lifting up in the air like a feather.
And the right rear wheel digs into the dirt and tears the whole rear end loose from the car.
Yeah, if the tire hadn't come off of the wheel, it probably wouldn't have turned over like that. But once the tire came off, and it dug in and flipped it.
Now, when Schrader's car was heading down pit road, he was basically a passenger because the front end of his car had been heavily damaged.
And I think that's what happened at the end of pit road. He just couldn't control his car.
Yeah, here they come. Here comes Schrader. You can see the whole right side. Well, back there, his right side's all torn. Of course, he got into the wall.
The best news, driver number 12, Ryan Newman, climbed out of that car.
Car upside down.
Terry Smith.
See movement there at the left side of the car as we look at it. Over on its roof.
And when you're in a situation like that, you are just a passenger, especially when these cars start turning each other. Here you see, looks like Johnny Sauter slid up in the 30 car into Brian Vickers in the 25. A chain reaction.
Yes, that's Michael Tuckins. Yes.
And Biffle, the pole sitter, looks like he barely got through there.
So you see the tire come off of Michael's car, then it got into that grass softened by the rain, and it just dug in, just like we saw Ryan Newman's last year, and sent the car over.
There's Harvick, Kevin LePage, Johnny Benson,
Terry Labonte. We saw McMurray and Vickers.
Okay, here we go. This might be our best shot.
Watch the car at the bottom there. Blue and yellow car. Slides up right there. Just ever so little contact, which doesn't look like a lot when you're running 185, 190 miles per hour. It's a lot.
There's the 15. The mountain right now he's going to dig in. There goes one of the tires that Alan talked about. Violent.
Very violent. Yeah, when you hit that grass, hang on.
The 30 car, he comes up and just, it's like you said, Wally, another 6 inches, probably would have not been an accident.
And it looks like the 30 to me got a little bit loose down there. He got a little bit loose. He corrected, but when he corrected, he slid up the racetrack, and unfortunately, there were 2 cars on the outside of him.
So my count, at least 10 cars involved in this accident.
It's hard to tell if he got loose or he pushed up there, but
the end result is still the same.
Yeah.
Michael hit by Robbie Gordon, and then here's the dig. Right there.
Dig.
You can see just how high that he throws the dirt as the car goes over.
A couple other cars almost got on their lid, too. That was Kevin LePage in the 4 car got some air.
Now watch this. I think Biffle gets through it without too much damage.
Hey, Benny, he just said on the radio they should show it from my onboard. We are.
Wow, that is amazing. That should be the lucky dog.
That's right.
Robbie Gordon's here.
Robbie didn't have such a good time on it.
Man.
That looked like yesterday.
We're done. My car's killed.
He said all this while he's sliding to a stop. Did you hear him say, we're done?
him right here. He drives right to that corner right here. When he makes that turn, boom, I want to be right on that 18's corner and force him up the racetrack right there.
Okay, now
He
Kyle's
blocks.
hanging on,
He blocks.
but he's going to
comes
block.
back.
And it just ran himself
He
over the
blocked.
14 car.
And here's what happened. Just like we talked about at Talladega and everybody talked about, block me once. That's okay. Block me twice, you're going up in the grandstands or you're going in the wall. And that's what happened. The 18 made 2 swipes at him. One to the inside, one to the outside.
Yeah, this one's fair right here. This one's
not
you
fair.
kind of had it coming.
Yeah, he had that one coming. When you cut back across the hood of somebody after you've blocked him once, and Tony, once he blocked, Tony put the bumper on the outside of him. He was there.
Watch the 9. I think it's
Watch
a
the
9 car.
gets
takes
right
a
in the
hit.
back.
I
Goes right
mean,
into him.
just clobbers Kyle Busch.
And these guys, there's a 31 car touring, but these guys hit hard right here.
Logano finally his luck ran out. He just
but you see
couldn't
these
avoid
guys
that
come
one.
on across the racetrack. This is ugly down here. They're very fortunate nobody got hurt right there.
Trying to bump you. Stay on this yellow line. Chase up, coming up high. There you go.
Pick the rear tires off the ground. Now watch this next hit.
Oh, man. Trying to keep Jeff Gordon behind him, and Jeff is working him over. Look at that. Jeff's going to move him up out of the groove and get by him.
Whoa, Busch is around. Can he save it this time?
Oh, there you go.
He does. He saves it. But there's a
Jeff Gordon's upside down. Jeff Gordon's upside down.
And Kurt Busch's car is destroyed.
Oh, my gosh. Jimmy Johnson's car destroyed.
Track crew quickly on the scene to aid Jeff Gordon. On the radio, he has told his team he is okay.
Yeah, I see him. I think I can see him moving.
A wild ride for Jeff Gordon as he tries to win the Bud Shootout, just a lap and a half from the flag. Teammate Jimmy Johnson's car damaged. Several cars to the garage already. Kyle Busch to pit road. Montoya's made a stop and comes back out.
It's been like a demolition derby tonight. Holy cow.
Tony Stewart and shootout rookie Marcus Ambrose ahead of Clint Boyer, Brad Keselowski, and Greg Biffle. Jeff Gordon has asked for them to roll the car over before he tries to climb out.
Michael can address that situation. Michael, you were upside down here a few years ago over on the back straightaway.
Yeah, and Michael's a lot bigger than Jeff, and the cars were a lot littler, and that was a bad combination. I could not get out, and you're talking about freaking you out. Be upside down in a car, it's smoking, you see oil or fuel, something dripping around you, you want out really badly, and Jeff's doing his best to explain that to those guys, probably about like I was explaining it, with not the calmest manner.
No, but you know what, Michael, after your deal down here, they came up with a system to turn that car back over. You see them putting those straps around the car. When they turned you over, they just pretty much hooked the record to you and slung you back on your wheels.
And Jeff Gordon climbed out the side there. I think he got out. So that's what I love about these big cars, Darrell. There's more room for those guys to get in and out, and that's a lot safer.
Jeff Gordon gets a round of applause from the crowd here, and he is okay. Let's see what happened.
I think it's really Jeff trying to get the 18 car Kyle Busch up out of the way.
Pushing on that left side again.
Yeah, he's just working on him, Michael. Kyle was blocking, and Jeff was trying to get him loose and get him up out of the way, and he just got on the left side and spun him out.
Look at the job Ambrose and Boyer did coming through there. And there's our buddy old Brad Keselowski. We ain't seen him up front all night. He's fixing to restart with a chance to win this baby.
Yeah, I asked Larry, I said, is Brad Keselowski in this race?
Well, Jeff Gordon's car went about 1,000 feet on the driver's door before it barrel rolled to a stop.
Yeah, Brad Keselowski in that too. He's in that backup car.
You see Jeff down there. He just gets down on this left corner, and we've seen that time and time and time again.
You got to stay off the left side. What do we do about that, though, man? How do we fix it? The drivers just have to make the decision that they've got to lay off that left side.
Look at this long slide for Gordon. And that's Kurt Busch tangled up with him and Jimmy Johnson. And that car still hasn't lost much of its momentum as it goes side over side and comes to rest
Michael
on its roof.
A really good point, though, Mike. These cars are so much bigger than the cars.
And everybody.
Oh, are you kidding me? This is big. Wow. But it.
Boy, it just reminds me of the Clash. Same type of carnage that we saw where these cars were going everywhere. A lot of damage as they all got to turn 3.
Well, that ruined everything.
I mean, sometimes I'm speechless. I'm speechless.
You know, there's just those feel-good stories that build in a race, and boy, Matt DiBenedetto was doing such an amazing job.
Oh man, I tell you what.
So let's go to the Goodyear blimp as drivers climb out or try to make their way back to pit road, and look at the outside lane. DiBenedetto and Paul Menard.
Yeah, Paul Menard giving a pretty nice push down the back straightaway to DiBenedetto. Gets to his right rear. Oh yeah, that just starts to turn him a little bit.
Got him in the right rear.
And then he collects Menard.
Yeah.
Logano just misses it, but the whole outside lane and half the inside pile up.
And this is exactly what we were just talking about. At this stage in the race, you can start to taste victory in the Daytona 500. You want to see that checkered flag, and you'll do anything to get it, and you know you've got to be more aggressive with those bump drafts.
It looks exactly like the Clash. I mean, all those cars, third turn, all those cars wadded up, sliding up the track with sparks flying. It looked so much like the Clash.
That is the 17th of February, looking way too much like the 4th of July.
Amen.
Fireworks everywhere.
Yeah, and it really and truly, it was Paul Menard. He gave DiBenedetto a little shove, but it was on the outside, on the right side, and that just turned DiBenedetto into the outside wall, and then it was on from there.
And a different situation than we saw in the clash between Menard and with Jimmy Johnson, but it was a similar thing when we heard the spotter on the 21, Menard say, well, he zigged and we zagged.
And in this case, Menard told his team on the radio, I just bumped him a little too hard.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? It's the end of the race. You're trying to help that guy. You're trying to help DiBenedetto. You're not trying to wreck him, but just bad judgment. Look at that 10 car.
Almirola's number 10.
Look at David Reagan underneath the 10 of Almirola.
David Reagan, see what springs he's running. Look at that.
All those sparks flying.
My gosh.
Man, amazing shots.
And all Almirola wanted was a chance to win it on the last lap.
Yeah, I didn't
like last year.
Didn't quite get there. Close.
And I got to believe our two leaders right now, Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin, were really wanting and hoping to have another Toyota there and DiBenedetto to help them pull off this victory today. Going to be a little bit tougher for them to hold off those Fords, and some Chevys are moving up also.
Scenario that I think I would want if I was a teammate, you know, with being door to door with my teammate Hamlin and Bell for the front.
He gets fell into the wall for the front of Custer, and up in the air goes Ryan Preece, and for the second time in his career, he is flipping at Daytona. Good grief.
Off the front bumper, we were talking about a lap before. Custer got to his bumper, that thing went side to side, and he couldn't hold on to it. It was one too many.
Ryan Preece, a couple of years ago here, flipped down the backstretch after getting caught in the grass. There is Christopher Bell with the window net down. That signifies to the rescue workers that he is okay. Same with Ryan Preece. So much promise for this new ride with RFK Racing, and great speed in that car all week long.
Yeah, I'm happy to see that window net down. That was a really odd wreck with the way that front of that car got up in the air and then it blew over. Just happy to see him crawling out of that car.
I don't think I've ever seen one get up in a wheelie like that and blow over.
And there's his boss, Brad Keselowski, with a lot of damage from this one.
Well, you knew it was coming. Boy, the pushes were coming. They just kept, the aggression kept going higher and higher and higher. Christopher Bell just couldn't hold on to it.
Well, his car was just not capable of taking the pushes. We had just mentioned it a half a lap before that the back of that 20 car was all over the place. But at this point, you have no choice. You have to be able to just try to hang on to it. And
watch this thing off the bumper at Cole Custer. It just continues to get worse and worse as they come down through this straightaway. Starts there, starts dancing around across the front bumper. Some more here, gets crossed up. Rest is history. There it goes. Now watch the 60 car, Preece. Bam!
Yeah, you saw the...
Gets up on the... That's wild. I've never seen a car do that. That shows how fast they go.
And they pile up behind him. This is from Eric Jones. Oh.
Whoa. You think these guys aren't tough?
A devastating crash for Ryan Preece. An incredible camera work by our Fox crew.
I am so glad to see that window net down and him be able to get out of that thing. Whew, that's scary.
It's unbelievable what it looks like when these cars get caught by the air like that. And I'm with you, Clint. I've never seen one take off with a wheelie like that. But they just flip around like they don't weigh 3,600 pounds.
Well, nothing weighs that much at 186 miles an hour.
Saw the airbox just blow away. The right front tucked up underneath the A-post there.
Car did its job, though.
And he walked away.
So many safety enhancements in these race cars.
So that will likely send us to overtime. It happens on lap 196.
Who's left?
Unbelievable.
We saw the side of that car face the wind, and the roof flaps had not yet come up, and that creates that pressure differential between air over the car and under the car that sends it tumbling.
Well, just like we said, though, I've never seen a car wheelie like that. The roof flaps won't work. Whew. I've been there. That's a bad feeling. Did you hear how quiet it got?
Ah, you see him tuck his head right there.
Looking back at Cole Custer and Christopher Bell.
Yeah, and that Bell car just, it was just not capable of being pushed. And I'd say that that's a lot of the reason that we hadn't seen him up there all night, because that car isn't accepting pushes well. But at this point in the race, you have to just put yourself in a position to throw it all out there and hope that this doesn't happen.
Well, and that's exactly what he did. That's why these guys are where they are in the sport and in their life. See, they do not give up, and they go for it.
Preece got all that air under the nose, and you're right, it looked like it was going to just take off straight ahead. And I think he would have settled down had the car not turned and been side to the wind. And that's what sent it tumbling.
Those shots when that car lands right there, I know we're in slow motion right now, but the impact that goes through your back and spine and neck, and especially when you can't see what direction the next hit is coming from to brace yourself. Right as the camera went out, we saw him start to duck his head and just, hold on to the steering wheel to brace yourself. That's what I would do. You see a lot of guys just let go of the steering wheel and things now.